Hi, I'm Alice from Tap with Alice, and today I'd like to talk to you about using a tapping bear with your children. Or if you work with children, you can use it in a playgroup setting or a school. So first of all, I'll just talk a bit about how to make one. So you need to choose an animal or a bear which has a face. You'll notice that I've stuck little buttons here where all the tapping points are. If you don't know where the tapping points are, you can watch one of my other videos, which explains all about the tapping points. So you need something that has a face so that it's got an eye and a nose and a mouth, you see. And some people use dolls, but I think I prefer not to use dolls as they're a little bit too much like humans. They can be a little bit too close for comfort, really. And most children like bears or rabbits. It could be any animal toy that has a little face. It doesn't have to be small like this one. I chose a small one because my daughter likes little tiny things. But it can be a normal big size teddy bear or any other. You can find one in a charity shop. You don't have to buy a new one. If you're not British, you may not know what a charity shop is, but I forget what they're called in the States. You know, a place where people give their unwanted stuff, and you can buy it. Anyway, so choose your animal, and then you've got to attach the buttons somehow. So this is, of course, at your own risk. If you think that your child is likely to pull off buttons, don't give it to them. I've stuck these on with glue because I've used a really strong glue because I know that my daughter won't pull them off. And if she does pull them off, she won't put them in her mouth. But obviously, if you have a toddler, I wouldn't suggest this at all. And it's better to sew them on. They'll be more secure. I was just a bit lazy. And in any case, if you're doing it yourself, just be aware that of that safety aspect and don't leave them with a small child that could pull them off and put them in their mouth or up their nose or ears or anything. And the other thing that I would suggest is to keep this tapping toy, I call this one Tappy Bear, keep it as a special toy. So don't just put it in the toy bag with all the other soft toys that can be just used for any old kind of toy. Let's keep this one as a special toy so that your child knows that this is the bear that will help them when they're feeling upset. So you can call it special or magic or anything that you think your child will get. And you stick the points on, just, I've got one on the top of the head, one for the eyebrow, one for the side of the eye, one under the eye, below the nose, below the mouth, on the collarbones, under its little arm, and on the side of the hand here. I've just put the main points. Obviously, you're not going to use the finger points with something that has paws. So how would you use this? So anyone that's got children or has been a child knows that children get very emotional sometimes, and unlike adults who've learned to deal with their emotions or suppress them, children just let it all out, especially small children. They often have little tantrums and things like that. So a tapping bear can be a really good way to help them to get to grips with their emotions. What I would suggest is start off by talking to the bear as if it is experiencing whatever your child is experiencing. So you look at the bear, you do it yourself, first of all, and you start tapping the buttons, little magic buttons. And you say, oh dear, you're feeling very upset. You're feeling very sad. You're feeling very angry. Oh my goodness, you're so angry. What an angry bear you are. My goodness, so angry. And just talk to it as if it's experiencing whatever the child is experiencing. It can be very helpful to name the emotions, especially small children don't know what they're experiencing. They don't know how to understand it. It's just blah, it's just there. So if you name the emotion, it will help them to learn, oh, this is anger. Oh, this is sadness. Oh, this is disappointment. And then it will help them to learn how to deal with their emotions. And so you say, oh goodness, you're feeling so disappointed, and talk about what happened if you like. Oh, you're so disappointed. I'm tapping on the bear all the time here. You're so disappointed that we had to leave the park early And that made you feel really sad and angry. You're feeling so sad and angry, we had to leave the park early. That wasn't fair, was it? That didn't seem fair. And of course you're feeling disappointed. Of course you didn't want to leave the park. You were having fun there. Why would you want to leave the park? Anybody would have been disappointed. And just talk to the bear like this. You can ask it questions. So maybe you don't know what, obviously in this situation, I know what happened with the child, but maybe you don't know. Maybe suddenly they freak out about something and you're not sure what it is. So you say, oh, I wonder why you're so angry. You seem very angry. You're crying and you're raging. You're so angry. You're so angry. I wonder why. I wonder what happened. I wonder what made you feel so angry. When you're doing this, of course, I forgot to mention, but obviously your child is there, seeing you do it and listening to you. So most children will respond. Most children will start, either they'll start talking to the bear or they'll talk to you, they'll answer the questions, they'll maybe start saying something else to the bear about something. And you know, if it's something that happened to them at school that you weren't there for and you don't know what happened, you can say, if it's an older child, you can say, oh, you know, I wonder what happened at school. You seem sad. You seem very quiet. You seem so sad. I wonder what happened at school today, Bear. And it can be a way for your child to vocalize what happened. You can also explain things to the bear. So let's take the park example. You could say, it's important to acknowledge their feelings first. Don't just leap into, well, of course we had to get home for lunch. They're not interested in that. It's really important to acknowledge the emotions. That's what we do with EFT, to acknowledge the emotions, tap a little bit, and then maybe your child will start to calm down after doing this for a while. I'm just tapping on the bear here all the time. And then later on, you can start to explain whilst you're tapping. You can say, well, that was very disappointing that we had to leave the park early. Mummy wanted to get home to get you lunch on time because otherwise you'd be hungry. And that was very disappointing. Of course you didn't want to leave. And Mummy was just trying to do the right thing. Mummy was trying to get you home so that you wouldn't get hungry and tired. Something simple like that. With older children as well, of course, it can turn from the bear into a conversation, or the child will also be able to learn to tap on themselves. So you might be wondering, how does this work? If you've watched some of my other videos, or if you know about EFT, you know that when we tap on ourselves, we are tapping on acupuncture points. So obviously it's doing something in the body. Again, I've got other videos which explain how it works on yourself. But when we're looking at the bear and tapping on the bear, on the points, that's the importance of having a little face, that our mirror neurons are activated. So mirror neuron, the mirror neuron effect is, for example, if you see somebody yawning, what happens? More than likely you start to feel the urge to yawn as well. We've all seen that happening. It's the same with anything. If you see somebody playing tennis and you're really engaged, you'll start to sort of twitch and like leaning forward when somebody's shooting a goal in football, this kind of thing. Your brain is actually activated in the same way as if you were doing the thing. So when you're tapping on the bear, or when you see somebody else, when your child sees you tapping on the bear, you're actually activating the brain in the same way as if it was being tapped on. Another thing that happens is that it's a good way to get a bit of distance. Sometimes it's difficult to talk to your child if they're upset. They can't listen. It's not even that they don't want to, they just can't. They're in this anger or this terrible sadness or whatever it is, and they can't talk about it. So it gets a bit of distance. The child isn't put on the spot because you're talking to the bear. Oh, you're feeling so angry, bear. Sometimes if you say to a child, what's the matter, what's wrong, and they're like, oh, I don't know, and they feel like they're going to give you the wrong answer. So having it on a bear gives it a bit of distance, and it's much easier for the child to vocalize what they're feeling or to explain to you. It's also a really good way to acknowledge their feelings, which is very important. We don't want to just say, oh, stop crying. You know, often if it's your own child or anyway, you're so upset that your child isn't happy that you want them to just be happy. But it's important to acknowledge what they're feeling first, so that they can then be happy later on. It's normal, isn't it, for all of us to have ups and downs and feel sad and feel angry throughout the day and throughout the week. And also your child will learn to tap. which is a very important skill. I believe it's essential for everybody in the world to know how to tap. So this is a really good way to get them interested and to get them to learn the points. They can see the points on their bear and they'll be able to learn that, oh, it's the same on my face. So that's a little bit about how to tap with your child using a bear. I'd love to know if you've tried it yourself. And thanks so much for watching. You can find me on my website at www.tapwithalice.com. And I'm also on Facebook, Tap with Alice. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.